It's you, Laura Bow, fresh out of college and already working for a great metropolitan newspaper. The gents' sign leaves little doubt as to what lies behind the door. You shudder to think of it.
Can I see that report, please?
It's very technical, lass. I don't think you'll be learning much from it.
Thank you for your concern, Detective, but I'd like to be the judge of that.
You're a determined girl. I'll say that much for you. Have a look, then.
The file on the Leyendecker Museum burglary is nothing more than a single handwritten page. The world's first blender, invented 50,000 years ago by a Neanderthal named Boog. Instead of a motor, it was powered by a pair of gerbils running in a crude treadmill. Considered impractical by the other Neanderthals, Boog's invention was forgotten until 1922, when it was reinvented by Stephen J. Poplawski of Wisconsin for the purpose of mixing malted milkshakes. At that time, the blender was known as a vibrator. Stephen made a fortune from it. Boog should also have invented the first patent. One of the notices reads, "Stolen, 1 Victrola, reward offered. No retribution will be exacted." Apparently low fat does a good bit of hand tailoring. The shelves are filled with fabrics, silks, wools, cottons and satins. In another 50 years or so, these will all be replaced with snazzy, durable acetates.
What do I look like? The answer, man? I don't know about nothing except the corned beef assembly, which is what I got right here.
The Struthiomimus is just an innocent bystander in this mystery. Please don't disturb it.
Oops.
Congratulations, you've cracked the case of the dagger of Amon-Ra. A typical light-hearted painting by anonymous Bosch called A Heartwarming Story, depicting dead humans being tormented by skeletons and demons in hell. When you were a mere tot, you thought you'd be able to touch the sky when you grew up. Now you know better, but your futile attempt makes you wonder if there's still a child somewhere inside you who is dying to get out. Or maybe you've just lost your mind.
Mr. Leach, do you have any idea who might have taken the dagger of Amon-Ra?
I sure don't. Well, I halfway wonder if it wasn't one of those Egyptian fellas. They probably think I took it.
Was the dagger well guarded?
Oh sure, it was locked up tighter than a drum. Somebody really pulled a fast one.
Up close, the newsroom is covered with dried ink, sweat, tears, blood, and history. Or perhaps it's just your imagination.
Countess, they tell me you were married to the last museum president, no?
Yes, darling, that's correct. Sterling Waldorf Carleton was such a charming man, and so wealthy. My heart is just an empty void without him.
Yes, Sterling was such a nice man. It's too bad that he's worm food now.
Ew! I prefer to think that Sterling is still with me in spirit.
Oh, I'm sure his body is crawling with maggots by now. But if his spirit is with you, let me know because I'd love to see it.
It's just an ordinary store counter decorated with a dragon of cultural significance to the Chinese. If you'd taken Asian Studies at Tulane instead of Journalism 101, it might mean something to you, but you didn't. So it doesn't. This is the Life Mask exhibit. You haven't seen this many dead-looking, expressionless faces since your accounting class at the university. Ah, if only this ship could talk, imagine the tales it would tell. You get all misty-eyed just thinking about it.
Does the name Pippin mean anything to you?
Yes. Pippin Longstocking. My little girl read a book about her. Very funny. Freckles, red hair.
I don't think that's the same name.
No? I thought it was Longstocking. Maybe not.
One of the notices reads, "Some of our employees have been asking for a 40-hour work week, as has been proposed by Mr. Henry Ford. This is not an automobile factory, this is a newspaper. News happens 24 hours a day, and we need to report it."
I mean, that is unusual, isn't it?
I'm sorry, were you talking to me?
Never mind.
She did. What did she say? It ain't true. Listen, that old cow couldn't keep a secret if her life depended on it. I ain't taking the rap for her anyways. Now leave me alone before I calls the cops. Or somebody.
Some of the Baron of Bath's motto attempts translated as, "Take a bath," "We enjoy a hot bath," "We need a bath," and "Don't forget to wash behind your ears." After 30 years of indecision, they finally settled on, "You need a bath," which declared their view on how much the king needed the support of their family. The window overlooks the street, but it's so filthy that it's impossible to see anything clearly. That is, the window is filthy, not the street. Well, the street is filthy too, but it's the filth on the window that makes the filthy street difficult to see. It's Dr. Jazz, the piano player. This is only a temporary gig for Doc, since he normally plays with Jelly Roll Morton and his Red Hot Peppers. You see a rotund, unhappy-looking boy. The other boys, who are industriously setting fire to ants with a magnifying glass, seem to be tolerating his presence, but largely ignore him. The man poring over a layout is Eddie Bedletter, creator of the syndicated advice column Dear Eddie. Unfortunately, Eddie has been divorced twice and is estranged from his rival columnist brother, so where he gets off giving other people advice on how to live their lives is an unanswerable question. This is the science editor for the Trib. His latest report critiqued Goddard's demonstration of the first liquid fuel rocket, which traveled 184 feet in 2.5 seconds. At the moment, he's checking to see who signed up for the three-legged race at the annual picnic. If it could talk, which it can't, it would probably be saying, "Help, I'm millions of years old and I can't get up."
Dr. Miklos, have you ever seen a key like this one?
Well, isn't that beautiful? No, I don't believe I have. A key shaped like a skeleton. It must open something wonderful, my dear.
Do you have any idea what that wonderful thing might be?
No, but I certainly wish I did.
I want to marry an archaeologist and keep his artifacts warm. I travel with him through jungles and deserts and weather out every storm. If he wants me to, I'll burrow and dig on burials small and pebbles big. Oh, I want to marry an archaeologist. What a marvelous gig. Mommy would love him and Daddy too. We'd be famous and well-to-do. Oh, I want to marry an archaeologist. Then I could boop-de-doo, wahoo. I could boop-de-doo. Oh, we'd play peekaboo. Oh.
Why do you want to know about charcoal? Are you planning on burning down the museum? Well, are you?
It's a thank you note addressed to Dr. Olympia Miklos from Laurie O'Shannon, age 12. Dr. Miklos, thank you for introducing me to the world of bones. Since I met you, I have become a big collector of all kinds of bones. I like bones. As you said, bones are our friends. I even have a human skull I named Charlie. Thank you very much.
Hey, get your hands off of me, lady. You're not my mother.
For your information, little boy, I'm not nearly old enough to be your mother.
Yeah, go on. You're old enough to be my grandma.
I'm old enough to be your older sister. Now shush.
The Mask of El Bupentot, the Hottentot god of war. Hottentot warriors would invoke their god of war with the battle cry, "Boop boop-a-doop." This battle cry reputedly struck fear into the hearts of their enemies, who were usually the Poppentots who lived across the river.
How cute! Look at the tiny little mold colony. In time, it will totally consume the cheese, then die itself of starvation.
I do not know him. My whole world is this museum, Miss Bow.
Thrilled with your success, John Bow spent the rest of his life telling people what a wonderful daughter you were and how he had taught you everything you knew about criminology.
Countess, why are you tied up on my desk? Your face has certainly changed to an attractive pale color, my dear. You seem a little under the weather. Are you okay? Oh dear, you don't look well at all. O'Reilly! You want Mr. O'Reilly? Okay, just wait right here and I'll go get him. Hello, Miss Bow. Do you know where Mr. O'Reilly is?
Well, no, not exactly. I assume he's still in the museum.
Well, I'll find him. If you see him first, would you tell him that the Countess is dying on the desk in my office?
The Countess is dying? What's wrong with her?
Well, she's looking rather pale. Her eyes are glazed, and she's not breathing much. I'd guessed she'd been bitten by a snake.
By a snake?
Must you keep repeating everything I say? In any case, I've got to go now.
This curious device is a lasso at the end of a pole used for the humane capture of snakes in the wild, or wild snakes, or something like that. It's a colossal bust of the pharaoh Ramses II, discovered at the Ramesseum, his mortuary temple on the Nile's west bank opposite present-day Luxor. The complete Ramses statue stood nearly 60 feet tall and weighed more than 1,000 tons. Presumably Ramses was not this large in life, although many people have stated that Ramses had a big head.
I still have some trouble with your language. I do not know this Crowd feller. It is some sort of local delicacy?
This is now your desk. It's very old and looks like it hasn't been cleaned thoroughly in years, but it's sturdy and serviceable.
Why do you want to know about wire cutters? Are you planning on stealing my pterodactyl?
The intercom crackles and you overhear a conversation.
Oh, I so love your scars, Wolfie. Show them to me again, darling.
They are yours to admire, my strudel.
Hoopa! Very, very nice.
Yeah, and I have this new bone for your collection.
Ah, such a large bone, too. Where did you find it?
I've been carrying this bone around for years. It is yours now, my Fräulein. You may do with it what you will.
I'm impressed by your generosity, Wolfie.
I do not trust her. I do not trust you. I do not trust anyone.
I'm sorry, ma'am. My parents say I'm not allowed to talk about other people.
Did they really say that?
I don't know. I'm not supposed to talk about places I haven't been to.
Are you sure you're telling me the truth?
Yes, ma'am. My parents said so. Sorry, lady. My parents say I'm not supposed to talk about anything.
They're very restrictive, aren't they?
That's kind of what I asked them, but they said no.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be a mammalogy lab? Well, now you know how it feels.
Who's this fella low-fat?
You joking with me, right? I am low-fat. You in low-fat Chinese laundry.
I knew that.
This Sterling, he must have had the large broom.
It's just a manner of speech, my dear.
Thoroughly impressed by your success as a reporter, your editor, Sam Augustini, nominated you for a Pulitzer Prize and was present when you received your citation of valor from the police department. Sam retired 10 years later to become a gentleman cabbage farmer, fulfilling a secret lifelong dream.
But I want to know about the real crodfaller tea rhubarb.
You mean there's another crodfaller tea rhubarb? No two sets of parents could be that cruel.
That's okay, Mr. Crodfaller. You don't have to tell me about yourself if you don't want to.
Rube.
Who are you calling a... Oh, Rube's your nickname, isn't it? Sorry, I forgot.
My, that's a very nice-looking lantern. I carried one much like it when I explored the caves of Howling Death in Tibet.
Stop that. You'll burn out your retinas trying to examine the light with a magnifying glass.
Me? How sweet of you to ask about me, my dear. Well, I consider myself a simple woman. Just an echoing museum, a few hundred dead things, and a ferret for company, and I could be happy for the rest of my life. Well, with a little male companionship from time to time, that is.
This is a mastodon, one of the early mammals. Technically, the mastodon is not a dinosaur at all, but since they date back to prehistory, they're included in the exhibit. Yvette Delacroix died plastered. Her remarkably lifelike statue now lives on in the Old Masters Gallery of the Leyendecker Museum. Her memory lives on in the minds of all she touched. Her sculpture is attributed to Ryan O'Reilly, 1926. You can barely see a narrow, treacherous spiral staircase descending into the depths of the black stairwell.
I do not know your father, but I'm sure my father could beat your soft American father in a duel. Where did you get that? That is a man's fudge. I do not think you are a man, Miss Bow. Are you? Did you steal the fudge? Answer me!
Oh no, I didn't steal it. I swear.
If I find out you did, you have had it, Fräulein Bow. I will not tolerate illegal acts in this museum.
Boy, Daddy bet. She's some dish, ain't she?
Yes, those French women really have something. I don't think my wife would ever have done it in a mummy case.
In my vast experience of women from different lands, I tend to agree with you, Mr. Niger. I balked when a certain French woman suggested we have a deep conversation on the back of a dinosaur, but I was pleasantly surprised by the results.
Yes, Miss Delacroix is certainly the cat's pajamas, as the Americans would say.
Yeah, we does come up with some good sayings, don't we?
Quite.
Good Lord, I hadn't realized a woman was present. Please excuse us, Miss Bow.
Oh, I wasn't actually listening to you gentlemen, Dr. Carrington. I just happened to be standing here. Excuse me. Is there any information you can give me about Sam Augustini, editor of the New York Daily Register News Tribune?
Hoot man, he's a good law-abiding citizen.
Mr. Heimlich, how do you suppose the thieves got past you? Wasn't the dagger supposed to be heavily guarded?
Of course it was guarded. I have no idea how they got the dagger. They must have drugged me. They must have hypnotized me. They must have been ghosts.
Mr. Heimlich, are you all right?
That must be it. They were ghosts. I couldn't have possibly missed them. I couldn't have. I couldn't have!
Mr. Heimlich?
Oh, Mutter, I'm sorry I let you down. I'm sorry they got your paintings. Please try to paint again, wherever you are. Please.
I'm sorry if I upset you.
My Mutter, she was so heartbroken when her paintings were stolen from the museum in Germany. It was her first exhibition. She was so happy until...
Perhaps we should change the subject.
Subject? What subject? What are you talking about, you silly girl?
Oh, never mind.
It feels like fake, leathery reptile skin. Now keep your hands off the displays. It's an alcove occupied by a very impressive urn that contains the ashes of the deceased architect of the Leyendecker Museum, Arvin Slatherlord Loudermilk III. The extra-large size urn had to be specially built to accommodate Loudermilk's massive ego. The extensive police files cross-indexed and updated daily, detailing the exact location and quality ranking of every donut shop in the metropolitan New York area. Could it be? Yes. It's heavy. It's shiny. It's real gold. It's got a sharp point at one end. It's the dagger of Amon-Ra. You pick it up and place it in your purse.
The English longbow was a formidable weapon. The English won the Battle of Agincourt against formidable odds because they were equipped with longbows.
I said John bow, not longbow.
I've never heard of a John bow. It must have been an American invention.
Lofat's father, reduced to ashes and stored inside the vase, has been left speechless by his untimely death. The helmet on this Italian suit of armor, circa 1460, is interesting because it's a barboot which lacked protection for the lower part of the face. The barboot is sometimes called the barboot sallet because, like the 15th century sallet, it doesn't enclose the whole head, offering most of its protection to the top. Unlike the barboot, however, the sallet is often characterized by a reinforced forehead plate and an elongated pivoted nape defense. It is, however, difficult to differentiate between the barboot, the sallet, and the bassinet. The shallow barboot resembles the sallet, while the deep barboot resembles the bassinet. Then again, who really cares? The head is attractive, but you'd never stoop to stealing. From the smell of the damp stain, it appears that Dr. Carter was quite surprised by the stabbing.
What's up with this Ziggy joker?
Hey, watch your mouth! You're talking to him!
The light bulb is on. You find it very illuminating. The word gorilla has been stenciled across the label of this large crate. Somebody's crossed out gorilla and scrawled Sasquatch underneath.
I think Dr. Carter is quite fortunate to have crossed into the underworld. Now he can finally meet Amon-Ra in person. I'm sure if he'd had the choice, Dr. Carter would have wanted to die the way he did. In a way, it sums up his entire archaeological career.
The label reads, "Guaranteed to ward off poisonous snakes, or your money back." The directions read, "Sprinkle copious amounts of Dr. Moribund's guaranteed snake oil on snake. Snake will leave you alone. If snake does not leave you alone, Dr. Moribund accepts no legal responsibility for damage occurring to the snake's victim." Death is a natural part of life, so when your time comes, it's best to accept it and go out gracefully. The hieroglyphs on the mummy case identify the occupant as Pu, a high government official who died in 330 BC. Painted at a time when mummy cases were viewed as being less important, the artwork looks like it was done quickly, with little care for detail or quality, as if the artist assumed it was going to be buried and no one would ever see it again anyway. Little did the artist realize that his work would be dug up 2,000 years later and placed in a museum. Now it's in storage because the artwork showing Pooh in candid poses with Thoth and Osiris is considered amateurish.
He works on the docks. He has red hair. He has no scars on his face. I do not trust him.
Nice going, Ace. You just emptied your snake oil down the drain.
I know nothing about lanterns. I do not need one. I can see in the dark.
The war mask of the Poppentot tribe. The Poppentots would strike fear into the hearts of their enemies, the Hottentots, by wearing these masks into battle and screaming their battle cry, "Pop goes the weasel!" which translates roughly as, "Go back to your own side of the river, you Hottentot wimps." The Hottentots hated the Poppentots primarily because the Poppentots kept stealing all the Hottentot women. Actually, the Hottentot women kept defecting to the Poppentot tribe because they had better food, better villages, and men who bathed regularly. You might say that the Poppentots were the first yuppies. It's an actual skeleton key, glued to the painting as if it's being held by one of the skeletons. That Bosch was a stickler for realism. The long curved tusks of the mastodon are currently supporting the limp weight of Ernie Leach, ex-maintenance engineer.
She's a lovely girl, Miss Bo, but she makes me just a little nervous.
Oh, really? You think she's lovely, do you?
Well, sure. A man would have to be blind not to see that, right?
I think she wears a wig. She looks cheap.
Her hair looks real to me.
How come she makes you nervous? You're big enough to take care of yourself.
Well, she's kind of pushy, if you know what I mean.
No, I'm afraid I don't. And I don't think she's your type.
Could we talk about something else?
I suppose so, since this topic seems to make you nervous.
He did not care for the museum. He wished he could keep his finds, but they belong to the Lion-Decker. And we intend to keep them. Do you understand me?
One of those new portable typewriters. At a mere £50, you can take it anywhere. Well, you could if it was useful to you, which it isn't, so forget it.
Isn't that what they named us stiffs when they don't have an ID?
I'm sorry, but I simply have to say that your pronunciation is dreadful.
Hey, that's an insult, right?
So, what are you doing?
Giving these crummy ants a hot foot. Wanna try?
Thank you kindly. Some other time.
Your loss, lady.
The pants are damp and you're getting much too personal, Laura.
Miss Bo, I find it vaguely offensive that you would even think that I know anyone named Ziggy.
Don't even think about touching the flytrap. It's a meat-eating plant that's been getting a steady diet of red meat ever since Yvette bought it, and it's getting hungry again. Although you're an overachiever, you're definitely reaching too high this time.
Do you read the New York Daily Register News Tribune?
Seen it. Not read it. Love that not read American newspaper. Too violent. Prefer hometown newspaper.
Which is?
Newark Bee. Very good newspaper. Not like most American paper.
Heard about that new Air Commerce Act that was just passed? It's the one that provides federal aid for airlines and airports. I find it unfair. The government doesn't subsidize hard-working taxi chauffeurs.
What do you know about corned beef sandwiches?
Nothing. I'm a pastrami man myself.
Ah, yes. Detective O'Reilly. I can't say that I'm overly fond of that one. He has little respect for the wonderful things in the museum, and he is too firmly rooted in this life. I do not believe that he likes the dead at all. Can you imagine?
I know everything's not what it looks to be, but then what is? Same with all these Maki-Maks. Look, appearances can be deceiving. Me, do I look like the brother of a famous Broadway producer? No, but I am!
One of the many paintings in Michelangelo's Battle of the Nudes series. A fine stuffed example of the African giant pouched rat, also known as the Gambian pouched rat. Found from Gambia in the west to the Sudan and Kenya in the east and southwards to the Transvaal. Nearly 3 feet long. Discovered by R. Meinertzhagen, who tracked this rat for years before cornering it in a sleazy bar in Kenya. It's a rat, ready to pounce! Well, he would pounce if he wasn't stuffed.
So, do you have any interesting hobbies?
Killing ants, hitting baseballs through windows, and passing on my wisdom to those younger than me. What's it to you?
Just asking.
Yeah? Well, don't ask again.
They're not really Chinese characters. Low-Fat displays them to give himself an aura of authenticity, since he was actually born in Newark, New Jersey. You're not that tall.
I do not trust him. I do not know why he's here. I think he is a Nazi. They are everywhere. He is a bumbling fool who does not care about this museum. I do not need his help. I do not need anyone's help, least of all yours.
Our modern society is a mere shadow of its former glory when compared to the pinnacle of human development reached by the ancient Egyptians. They knew the truth, and the truth was Amon-Ra. He led Egypt to world domination.
Aren't you exaggerating just a teensy bit?
I would not expect you to understand. You are not an Egyptian, and you are a woman.
What's that supposed to mean?
I do not need snake oil. I do not fear snakes. I do not fear anything. The snakes fear me.
A gleaming column of fine Italian marble, burnt sienna in color, topped with a Corinthian-style capital of expert craftsmanship. Since you're the sort of person who splits hairs, you've probably noticed that the capital is a curious combination of Corinthian and Ionic architectural styles. These pillars remind you of that class in architecture you were forced to take at Tulane University. The professor would have been outraged by such a ludicrous mixture of early Greek styles. However, it's well known that the Leyendecker Museum was designed by a half-mad eccentric in the 19th century, Arvin Slatherlord Loudermilk III, so you're not really surprised by the presence of architectural anomalies. In a way, these oddities lend a certain peculiar charm to the character of the museum. There's an inscription on each of the pots which reads, "These vessels were made by Welsh craftsmen. We make better castles than you do, and our flag has a griffin on it."
Do you know anything about Egyptology?
The only Egyptian I know is an accountant named Ramses Najir, something like that.
Oh, the godfather. I met him only once on the train. The train was a sleeper car. It was dark, and I climbed into his berth by mistake. He will always remember that meeting, I am sure. I, unfortunately, will have forgotten it in a few months.
Since the floor is an odd location for a desk lamp, and since other desk items have been disturbed, you conclude that the lamp was knocked down during some sort of physical activity that took place on the desk. This striped heraldic banner belonged to Sir Hors d'Oeuvres, the French Baron of Beef. His family motto on the upper part of his banner was Hors de combat, which, although it sounded fierce, actually meant out of the battle. This was not a family known for its fierce warriors, although it did produce several excellent interior designers.
Do not look at me too closely, Miss Bo. I found the line on my face yesterday and I am still upset about it.
The poster outlines basic dissection and preservation techniques. You scan it quickly, just in case you decide to make a change in your career.
It's unfortunate that Ernie died, but his body is nicely displayed on that mastodon, don't you think? Makes quite a nice exhibit, actually.
You examine the pants currently being worn by the lifeless body on the floor. They're tuxedo pants with a thin stripe of satin up the side of each leg. The pants are stained with the usual fluids that seep out during death, which explains the smell, but you find nothing unusual. Jeepers! The shiny key on the painting even feels real. Probably because it is. It's the mummy case of Sebek Ra, a pharaoh of the 13th dynasty. Sebek Ra was a fanatical follower of Sekhmet, the ferocious lion goddess. So deep was his devotion that he slaughtered his entire entourage for her. After that, he just couldn't get good servants. This is the sarcophagus of Ames I, a pharaoh of the 18th dynasty. Ames was known for his love of hunting wild geese. This led to his nickname, the Mighty Goose King of the Upper Nile.
Mr. Leach, can you let me out of this museum? I don't like it in here. People keep dying.
Sorry, Miss Bo. I seem to have lost my door keys.
Oh, I find that very disturbing.
Me too. I can't even let myself out of the building. We're all staying here until I find those keys.
Don't touch the evidence. A slab of meat which smells ripe, veins of rancid fat forming abscesses that ooze copious amounts of pus run through the decomposed cut of beef. Yum, just like Mom used to make. The mask of El Whoopintot, the god who scares Hottentot children. Hottentot elders told stories of how El Whoopintot would jump down from the roofs of Hottentot mud huts to steal the noses off children who didn't behave properly. Anthropologists attribute the El Whoopintot stories to tribal myth, but the ancient records reveal that many Hottentots lived their adult lives without noses. There's a moral here somewhere.
He is the man who does my laundry when the German laundry is closed. Of course, the German laundry is never closed, since it is manned by sturdy German laundry people who need no sleep.
There was...
Hey, meat!
The meat doesn't respond, and the bugs continue on their journey. You're a vegetarian. You don't want the meat anymore. A pair of evilly spiked ballet shoes. Ballerinas were tough in the old days.
Do you know Yvette Delacroix?
Cripes, how do you know about her?
I heard she was...
Look, that was long ago and far away, okay? The room was dark and I was not married at the time. I don't know how you know about that, but I don't want to hear another word about it.
My goodness, very well, forget I mentioned it.
A close inspection reveals that this is not real marble. It's an imitation marble invented by Claudius Brutus Apollonius Bigus Blimpus Maximus, known to his friends as Fatus Rotundus. This dinosaur feels like a sauropod. You're not sure how you know that. Perhaps your father told you what sauropods felt like when you were a child.
Would you like this sandwich?
Would I? Yes, ma'am. Only, my parents tell me I'm not supposed to take food from strangers.
Well, your parents sound like very sensible people.
I don't know.
You don't have time to sit down, Laura.
Dr. Miklos is a strange bird, but she's a decent sort all the same. I see her a lot at night working late. Sometimes she invites me in for coffee. She certainly is taken with the plate in my head. She must have looked at the scars a dozen times.
A variety of shiny metals. 2 of them, with packs of dogs carrying birds in their mouths, are marked with the word Reichsjagdgebrauchshundverband, Others appear to be merit badges for the German youth equivalent of the Boy Scouts. Upon close inspection, you determine that it is, indeed, a wall. The mummified corpse of Amenophis III, also known as Amenhotep III, or Memnon by the Greeks. He built large temples to Amon-Ra, both at Karnak and at Luxor. In the 5th year of his reign, Amenophis marched into Nubia to quell a mighty rebellion. He also ruled over the Mesopotamians, since his kingdom was quite large. We also know that Amenophis was a mighty hunter who slew 102 lions during the first 10 years of his reign in his spare time. Now he's dead.
Oh, you've got a little notebook. Isn't that cute? Well, if you solve the mystery of the missing letter opener, we'll make you an honorary police girl.
I have a feeling 1926 is going to be a great year, don't you?
Yeah? You ever try writing obituaries for a living? Hardly a jolly way to spend the year.
Don't touch the stuffed rat. You'll make him nervous. There's a homey old Norwegian phrase stitched into this needlepoint. An axe in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. Words to live by.
Achtung! This is not the public part of the museum. This area is verboten to you and all of your kind. Leave now before you force me to shoot you.
Are you acquainted with Dr. Olympia Miklos?
Dr. Miklos? You mean Dr. Olympia Miklos? Greek woman, dark hair?
Yes, that's the one.
Never heard of her, miss. Sorry, I couldn't help but put your leg a bit there.
The cover isn't made of cheap leather. It's made of cheap imitation leather. This is an Archaeopteryx. Correction, this used to be an Archaeopteryx. Ah, a very nice specimen of Eohippus, somewhat flatter than it appeared in real life.
Have you ever gone down to the 12th Street docks?
You kidding? Docks dangerous place. Crooks and rats there.
Poor Dr. Carrington. He certainly had an interesting death, didn't he? I hope I expire in an equally unique fashion when my time comes.
It's the mummy case of I think I saw Puditut IV, a pharaoh of the 18th dynasty. He was known for his strange affinity for cats. A worshipper of Bastet, the cat goddess, he had so many cats at the time of his death that it took his servants 3 days to find his body amongst the hairballs.
I see you carry a notebook. I carry one too, in case I should think of some particularly exciting mathematical formula at an inconvenient time.
Have you ever met the Countess Lavinia Waldorf Carlton?
No. Have you met Shin Wang Li?
No.
That was fun. We play again sometime.
Have you heard about that transatlantic radio telephone conversation between New York and London? Imagine hearing someone's voice from that distance. Modern technology, it just amazes me.
The banner of the Marquess of Stafford. The motto on a scroll at the top of the flag reads, Frangus non flectes, which means, you may break but shall not bend me. The Marquess of Stafford was considered a very stubborn and inflexible person. This is a crime scene, so it would be a bad idea to touch the desk surface and leave your fingerprints behind. Imagine trying to explain that to the police. An interesting shell specimen, formerly belonging to a leaping nautilus. The leaping nautilus was rather an unsuccessful creature since it is now extinct. Obviously, this one is a mere shell of its former self. You have no reason or the slightest desire to touch this skeleton. You reach out sadly towards Ziggy's severed head, then draw away. He's clearly beyond all help.
That irritating little civilian is better off kaput. He reminded me of a small, yappy dog, always trailing after the good Dr. Carrington. His name sounded German, but I think he was the imposter. I never trusted him. And he was probably an art thief anyway.
Wolfie, your facial scars are so wonderful. How did you get them?
Fencing, my strudel. As a young man, I would fence with my Heidelberg friends. We would stop our opponent's saber just before it went through our faces, which would make the scars you see now.
Ah, that is very interesting. You did not use masks to protect your faces?
Nein, that would have been considered unmanly.
You'll have to show me how to do that sometime.
There are many things I can show you, my strudel.
Perhaps we should go somewhere less public, Wolfie.
Oh yeah, good idea. Particularly since there's an annoying reporter wandering around the museum. That is not something I would have allowed if I was running things here.
Give it time, Wolfie. Perhaps you will be running things here someday, if I have anything to say about it.
Oh? What can you do?
There are ways, but come, let us speak of these things in more privacy.
You can't talk to me. I'm a stuffed bear.
Ernie was a decent man, and when I find the murdering coward who drowned him, they will be crushed in my powerful hands. Many of our exhibits are hung with wire. Did you know that you could garrote someone in a matter of moments with a bit of wire?
Come a little closer, Monsieur Najir. I am wanting to show you something.
And what would that be, Miss Delacroix?
Look at the palm of my hand.
It is a lovely palm, to be sure. But what am I supposed to see?
You see this line, monsieur? It is my love line.
My goodness, Miss Delacroix. It goes all the way up your arm and disappears up your sleeve.
Would you like to see where it ends up, Ramses? Have you ever been to Paris, Ramses?
No, I can't say I ever have.
Then you have never seen the Eiffel Tower?
No.
Well, by all means, let me show you.
Miss Delacroix, please. I'm a married man. Oh dear.
Have you forgotten who let you into the museum, Ramses? Have you forgotten who showed you the secret room for your little ceremonies? You haven't, have you?
No, I haven't, but...
Then you will let me give you the grand tour of the tower, no?
We'll have to go somewhere else. I don't feel safe here.
Lead the way, monsieur.
I ain't talking. You can beat me up and put bamboo shoots under my fingernails, but I'm not talking, you understand?
All right, you needn't get huffy about it. I was just asking. Hello, little ferret.
It's the mummy case of the pharaoh Rat-Hotep, who ruled in the 14th dynasty. This is a rare piece because most evidence of Rat-Hotep's rule was destroyed after his death. Rat-Hotep tried to introduce the worship of the rodent goddess Munchausen. This proved to be unpopular, and he was eventually judged a heretic. You decide not to read beyond the title, Proceedings of the 20th Annual Conference on Domestids.
It's one of those local scandal periodicals. The term yellow journalism comes to mind when I think of it, which means it's not much of a newspaper at all, really. It's more like printed chewing gum for the uneducated masses.
Now, wait a minute. The Tribune is a fine newspaper of the highest quality. I know because I happen to work there.
You've just proven my point.
Well, I never.
Maybe that's your problem.
I don't have to stand here and take this abuse.
You're right, you don't. You could just go away and make us both happy.
How do you like living in New York, Dr. Miklos?
Well, I had always heard it was a city rife with crime and danger and murder. So far, I have not been disappointed.
It's a nice day, isn't it?
I don't know.
Well, there's not a cloud in the sky and the sun is shining.
I guess. Makes the ants light quicker, that's for sure.
One of Luigi's famous corned beef sandwiches. It's so fresh that it makes a faint mooing sound when you squeeze it. Ironically, there's a gold ankh medallion, the ancient Egyptian symbol of life, resting in the pool of blood.
You're an expert in Egyptology, aren't you, Dr. Miklos?
Well, yes, I suppose I am. I have been fascinated with the ancient Egyptians since I was a tiny girl. They loved death like you Americans love baseball.
A careful examination with the magnifying glass reveals this to be a magnifying glass. Low-fat continued in the laundry business, eventually opening a chain of low-fat Chinese laundries across the country and becoming a millionaire in the process. You think about touching the painting, then consider the subject matter, blush, and change your mind. The corpse is wearing a black tuxedo jacket. At the moment it's a poor fit, especially around the neck. After losing his head in the museum, Ziggy found himself unable to continue his criminal career. His head has been preserved and is now on display in the life mask exhibit at the Leyendecker Museum. You don't need it. Leave it here for the police.
Do you know Yvette Delacroix?
A small smile flickers over Low-Fat's normally inscrutable features.
Why are you smiling?
Low-Fat have arrangement with a vat. Laundry for free.
And what do you get in return?
Once more, Low-Fat seems to smile slightly, his eyes refusing to meet yours.
Is it something private?
Low-Fat not one to kiss and tell. Enough said, Kay?
I won't tell anyone. I'm sure whatever it is, I've heard it before.
He whistles an unrecognizable tune and deliberately looks away. The flower is fake. It has no detectable smell. A tube runs from the back of the flower, behind the lapel, down to a squeeze bulb inside the vest. When you squeeze the bulb, a weak stream of water squirts you in the eye.
He's a studious gentleman, isn't he? I wish he'd been there to help me when I was taking trigonometry.
It's a fine column of rare black travertine marble, quarried in the high Himalayan mountains. According to legend, these multi-ton blocks of marble were carried down to civilization on the backs of trained Nepalese frogs. Nepalese frogs are very large. A proud stone lion with a lamp on his head. The fact that he's looking east may indicate that he looks forward to the sunrise each day. Or maybe not.
How lovely! A snake lasso. Tell me, do you capture the little creatures for pets, or do you eat them? I have some delicious recipes.
I do not need a drink. I only drink water after it's been boiled. Germs, they are the tiny enemies, you know. We must protect our bodily fluids from their invaders.
Henri Lamour, the coroner, continued his successful career studying dead bodies for the next 50 years, finally retiring in 1976 to tour with a rock band, the Ungrateful Dead. Due to your success at recovering the dagger of Amon-Ra and finding the murderer, Wolf Heimlich continued as chief of security at the Leyendecker Museum. 2 months later, he was married to Dr. Olympia Miklos. 2 years after they were married, Wolf and Olympia had a child they named Morgana Wolf Heimlich. Having died in the course of this story, Watney Little's life of crime came to an abrupt end. As he was not a nice man, nobody missed him. Due to your success at recovering the dagger of Amon-Ra and finding the murderer, Dr. Olympia Miklos married Wolf Heimlich, who continued as chief of security at the Leyendecker Museum. 2 years after they were married, Wolf and Olympia had a child they named Morgana Wolf Heimlich.
This speakeasy, it used to be the good place of the business for me, no? Then I got this job, so I don't have to do that anymore.
What kind of work did you do at the speakeasy?
I was the hostess there for a while.
With your appearance, you must have gotten a lot of tips.
I suppose you could be calling it that. I got the very big tips.
That is me, Wolf Heimlich. Do you know how I got these scars on my face, Miss Bo?
No.
The little ones my father gave me, teaching me to do with the saber. The big ones I got at Heidelberg, dueling with my friends. How I miss them.
Your friend?
You rub salt in the fresh cuts to make them heal with the bigger scar. Did you know that?
No, I didn't, Mr. Heimlich. That's fascinating.
If it could talk, it would be saying, "Come closer, soft little human, and I'll whisper something in your ear." The Countess is looking rather pale. She seems surprised that she died here on Olympia's desk. An empty chest from the 15th century. Although the carvings on the exterior are crude, cut into the wood by someone with little talent or ability for wood carving, the chest now resides in a museum, simply because it's old. Kind of makes you stop and think, doesn't it?
Jeez, don't ask me, lady. I ain't touched a drop of that stuff in years.
When you give the pillar a push, the only effect you have is to move a few molecules of stone, which seems rather dull, so you stop doing it. A woody perennial plant with one main stem or trunk which develops many branches, usually at some height above the ground, otherwise known as a tree.
I enjoy strolling the docks at night, Miss Bo. I like to practice headlocks on the local thugs when they try to mug me. I live, breathe, eat and sleep to defend this museum. It is my father and my child. I love it. Do not touch the exhibits!
This is a type of spiked flail known as a holy water sprinkler, which was quite popular in medieval battles. The name, of course, is a humorous reference to the religious device that is swung in a similar manner. The main advantage of a flail over a common mace was that the spiked iron head of the weapon developed extra smashing force as it swung at the end of the chain which attached it to the handle. Don't touch the window. You'd merely annoy the cleaning staff. That's 10. Is that a unicorn floating in the murky liquid? Can't be. Unicorns are mythical creatures.
What a lovely pocket watch. Time is such a wonderful thing. It is the backbone of entropy and the end of us all. That is, if we even live that long. Ha ha ha.
Does the watch look familiar to you?
Oh, my, yes. Watches such as those are quite popular these days. I have seen many men carrying them.
But have you noticed anyone in particular carrying this watch, Dr. Miklos?
No, my dear. I try not to look at people that carefully. Living people, anyway.
Do you notice anything unusual about this watch?
Well, it isn't working. Perhaps it just needs to be wound. Or perhaps it has simply worn out, reached the end of its functional existence, as we all must do someday.
So far, I find the police in your country to be very ineffective. The Egyptian authorities would have captured the dagger thief by now, and they probably would have cut his hands off.
Cut his hands off?
It is the proper punishment for thieves. Tradition demands it. We find it very effective in our country.
Have you ever been to Low-Fat's Chinese Laundry?
Not me, miss, but I'll be happy to ask me bonny wife for you.
That won't be necessary. I was just asking.
It's one of those exotic oriental weapons you've seen before, although you can never remember the name of it. If you had any doubts before, a close look verifies that this is indeed the inside of the police station. This unique banner, which belonged to the Earl of Cholmondeley, bears the motto Virtus tutissima capis, which means virtue is the surest helmet. Unfortunately, the Earl didn't live very long after he came up with this motto. He lost his mind when a common foot soldier kicked him in the head after he fell off his horse. He was wearing full plate armor, except for his helmet. His friends had warned him about not wearing a helmet, but the Earl was known to be quite headstrong. Addled by the blow to his head, the Earl walked straight into the River Thames. Since plate armor doesn't float very well, the Earl of Cholmondeley immediately sank to the bottom of the river and was never seen again. In fact, he's probably still there. You closely inspect the nudes in Michelangelo's paintings, admiring his studies of the human form. These paintings were completed while he was still learning his trade as the apprentice to a great artist you've probably never heard of.
Pardon me, could you tell me?
Sorry, I'm just temporary.
As you study everything in this room, you feel like you're being watched. Then you realize that the enormous eyes of Ramses II seem to be scrutinizing your every movement. You see a very tall security man in a military-style uniform. His badge identifies him as Wolf Heimlich, and his appearance suggests that he has never smiled in his life. As with so many other things in this museum, this phone is dead.
Murderer, if you can hear me, give yourself up. You haven't got a chance. Stop these senseless killings.
An ancient hotel brochure, printed on a sturdy piece of papyrus, declares that an overnight stay at the Gofhotep Pyramid can bring the dead back to life, which helps to explain the numerous mummies found in the pyramid by modern archaeologists. While the Gofhotep Pyramid Hotel was an interesting experiment, it never recouped the massive costs of its construction. While it was moderately popular among the tourist trade, sophisticated travelers preferred rooms with windows, which the Gofhotep did not have. The giant lizards are displaying some rather uncivilized behavior. It's Dr. Pippin Carter, famous dead archaeologist.
He runs one of the local Chinese laundries. Pretends to be Chinese so he can get more business, but he has a terrible accent.
The dagger is a thing of great beauty. I believe you could sever an ox's spine with it. But all that glitters is not gold, my dear. You should see my Aztec sacrificial knife. The priest could carve a victim's beating heart with that beautiful treasure and hold it up for him to see before he died.
If the symbols are replying, they're doing so in a language you can't understand. Yvette's face doesn't look as good in death as it did in life. Perhaps because her makeup is covered with plaster dust.
That woman is downright unnatural, Miss Laura. I'd stay away from her if I were you. She keeps asking me if I've got any scars, don't you know?
The steel seems rather strange to be petting a dog wearing armor, doesn't it?
What can you tell me about Egyptology?
I don't know him, and if I had a name like that, I'd change it.
Why, could those be warthog hairs? Where on earth did you get them? Were you petting our stuffed warthog family by any chance? Oh, don't be ashamed, Miss Bo. I pet them too. They smell a bit like alcohol. You haven't been playing with our little friends in the alcoholic lab, have you? They are cute.
You touch the intercom unit, completely missing the buttons. And the whole point, apparently. This bookshelf is dedicated to a complete collection of the Encyclopedia of Interrogation and Torture. Jeepers, Laura, not in front of witnesses.
I really haven't had much interaction with Miss Delacroix. Well, of course, she is my assistant. So I guess I should correct myself and say that I do have interaction with her. But I don't know her very well, really.
Sorry, it's dead. And even if it weren't, it wouldn't tell you anything you wanted to hear.
Please not to touch me. My wife, very jealous woman. No hanky-panky in store, okay?
The broadsword looks like it has been sharpened recently. Unlike the other weapons on the walls, this sword appears to get regular use, which might explain Heimlich's dueling scars.
Ah, yes. A young woman never knows when she will need a pair of wire cutters. I carry some myself.
Have you ever studied Egyptology? It's very exciting.
I like mummies. They're already dead.
Well, there's a lot more to Egyptology than mummies, but you're right. They are very mysterious.
Someday I really want to unwrap one and see what they look like underneath. I don't know, my parents say there's no such thing as mummies that move.
A house pet, tastefully prepared for battle in 16th century armor. It's President Carrington's stuffed porcupine, Spiny Norman. An authentic recreation, at least in Bosch's mind, of happy-go-lucky skeletons tormenting a dead king named Graham. They appear to have stolen a key from the king, which one of them is placing in their treasure barrel.
Did you know that if the people of India had only possessed a few tons of charcoal, they could have incinerated twice as many widows last year, and still had time to cremate their dead? So I hypothesize at any rate.
Mr. Najee, would you have any idea who might have stolen the dagger of Amon Ra?
No, but whoever did should be boiled alive. He should be fed to hungry crocodiles. His guts should be strung from the pyramids. He should... Oh, excuse me. I get a little passionate on the subject.
Quite all right, Mr. Najee. I understand.
You try to strike up a conversation with the dirty laundry, but it won't come clean. A sign with the word taxi printed on it. This could have numerous meanings. However, since it does not look like a taxi itself, it probably just means that taxis will stop here if summoned. These look almost exactly like toilets.
Say, did you hear about the burglary at the Lion Decker Museum? Pretty exciting.
Did anybody get killed?
I don't think so.
Then big deal.
Sorry, Rex is the only talking prehistoric creature in the museum. It's a car. That's odd. The corpse refuses to reply. Perhaps it's because his mind is elsewhere.
You wouldn't happen to know a rather striking young man named Steve Dorian, would you?
Not think so. He must go to other cleaner. Sound like you sweet on this Steve.
I'm simply investigating him.
Ho, you detective? Low Fat think he see something pretty detective lady not see herself.
It's on the floor, but it's actually a desk lamp. This skeleton key is inscribed with eerily articulated markings, the weird orthography of a long-dead tongue. It offers no clue as to what it unlocks. Pandora's box, perhaps? It's the mummy case of Snivel and Hotep, the whining one. a ruler in the 15th dynasty, Snivelin-Hotep drove several slaves to suicide with his constant wheedling. He was mummified with a large onion in his mouth so his car would be silent in the afterlife. As fond as he was of the Leyendecker, Ernie Leach noted in his will that he wanted his body donated to the museum. His body now resides in numerous small jars of alcohol, which will be placed on display in the new Hall of Internal Biology, adjacent to the Hall of Late Mammals.
Sterling was a wealthy man. You must have inherited a nice fortune, Countess.
The money doesn't matter, darling. Actually, there's an annoying problem with the estate right now. It seems Sterling was changing his will when he died, to give me more money, perhaps. Anyway, I'm sure my attorney will take care of the problem.
Too bad you can't dig him up to finish his new will.
Sorry, lady. I don't think my friends are your friends, or vice versa.
This baseball has been autographed by Bob Ruth, Babe's unknown younger brother. Bob never made it out of the minor leagues because he was incapable of violence and therefore would not harm a baseball by hitting it with a bat. Bob eventually quit baseball and became a successful psychiatrist. Oh dear, the light bulb blew out. You hope someone will invent a reliable light bulb one of these days.
He was a good man, and I will miss him. When I find the coward who stuck him on the porcupine, they will wish they had never been born!
Battus was ahead of his time, since the world was not yet ready for synthetic marble. Battus also invented radar, but nobody knew what to do with it. Radar technology was then forgotten until World War II, and Fattus never got any credit for it. Fattus Rotundus died in obscurity, his genius unrecognized. Dr. Patar Sheptut Tut Smith finally gave up on getting the dagger of Amon-Ra returned to Egypt. However, once it completed its US and European museum tours, it was returned to the Cairo Museum anyway. So, several years later, Tut died a happy man, even though his death was the result of an Egyptian cobra bite. The big city, the Big Apple, New York, Manhattan Island, planet Earth, Milky Way, galaxy... Whatever you call it, it's your kind of town.
Our local cops are okay, I guess. They never give me too much of a hard time. I've heard there are some bad apples on the force, though. At least it isn't as bad as Chicago.
Only an archaeological thief would make such an accusation, Doctor. Now I'm sure that you stole it for yourself.
I did not.
Yes, you did.
Did not.
Did.
Did not.
Did.
Gentlemen, please.
Who asked you?
Since his skeleton was so nicely cleaned by the domestic beetles, Dr. Carrington's bones will soon be hanging on display in the Leyendecker Museum. It's a rather attractive wall. The pterodactyl is cold and lifeless, which is not unusual since it's been dead for millions of years. You don't suspect it died from foul play, but you never know.
That looks like a snake lasso. Dr. Miklos could tell you for certain. I just use my hands to capture the snakes. They fear me, so they will not bite me.
The scarf clearly isn't a scarf. It's the silk hosiery Yvette was wearing earlier in the evening. Her neck under the scarf shows red friction burns, as if she was strangled. This makes you wonder if she died during a passionate moment or had simply developed the habit of wearing silk hose around her neck. This is one of several flags of the Baron of Winchelsea-on-Avon, who could never make up his mind which banner he preferred. Their family motto was Nil consciere sibi, which translates into English as conscious of no guilt. Apparently they were only guilty when they were unconscious.
I do not believe I have met your father, Miss Bow, unless it was long ago and I have forgotten. I have met so many men, it is hard to keep track of them all.
Achtung! Tourists are not allowed in this room at this time. You are disturbing the paintings. Raus! You leave now! Mach schnell!
It's a Tyrannosaurus Rex. His name is Rex. Isn't that clever?
I don't eat much cheese myself. I'm more of a meat and potatoes man.
It says Dr. Olympia Miklos, Lifetime Achievement Award from the Society to Protect Misunderstood Inquilines. Thank you, dearest doctor, for helping people to truly appreciate inquilines. You are a true friend of the rat, mouse, pigeon, and cockroach. How does that old saying go? Red sky at night, sailors delight. Red sky at morning, sailors take warning. Blue sky at dawn, sailors just yawn. Blue sky at night, sailors take fright. Or something like that.
Be careful of the sticky spot on that seat. I'm always taking that 6-year-old Asimov kid over to his parents' candy store in Brooklyn. He likes to read science fiction pulps and lick lollipops in the back seat. Intelligent kid, but kind of messy.
VAT 11. Something odd is floating in the murky liquid. It appears to be half man and half fish. Or maybe it's just a trick of the light.
Mr. Najir is a very quiet one, isn't he? And so polite. Sometimes I wonder about him, though. I see a certain light in his eyes, like Daisy's, when she's about to kill a spider. I think I like Mr. Najir.
The interrogation chair does not look very comfortable.
Well, ain't you the hoity-toity dame these days? I almost didn't recognize you with your clothes on.
Excusez-moi, am I knowing you, sir?
Ziggy's my moniker. You gonna pretend you doesn't know me?
You are making the joke with me, no? Perhaps you have confused me with someone else?
I ain't joking. You're a bit Delacroix. I'd know that body of yours anywheres.
I am sure I am not knowing what you mean, Monsieur Ziggy.
Oh, I get it. Yous is worried one of these hi-hats is gonna hear us, right? Oh, okay. I'm clued in. We can talk later.
Dr. Miklos and I, we have much of the fun together. She is very friendly. Many times we have run through the museum chasing the daisy, no?
A common, everyday, ordinary key. Quite dull and boring, actually. It's not a good idea to walk up to pedestrians on the street and touch them. They might get the wrong idea. Now is a poor time to be reassembling this skeleton. You attempt to converse with the lantern, but it, like Lofat, remains inscrutable. You search the pockets and find nothing but the usual lint. You decline to take the jacket with you since it apparently contains no clues and is skewered to the floor anyway.
Would you say this has been a good year for you, sir?
Well, let's see. I made the most important archaeological discovery of all time. Almost everyone on the planet knows my name, and I've clinched a curatorial job I've been after for years. Yes, I'd say it has been a rather good year.
Seems to me you might have a problem.
A problem? Such as?
Well, you've accomplished so much this year. What are you gonna do next?
Next? What next? Don't bother me with such ludicrous questions, you silly female.
You unlock the drawer. Unfortunately, the key permanently jams itself in the lock. Let's hope you never want to lock this drawer again. Nice warp and woof in the fabric. Don't touch the shards of glass. They're sharp. You might cut yourself. Or you could put an eye out. Or any of a number of other things could happen that your mother warned you about when you were little and everything in your life was dangerous. Looking at the pterodactyl from here through the magnifying glass is pointless. As you carefully examine the fossilized remains of the Eohippus, you cannot help but reflect on how brief our lifespans are in relation to the age of the Earth. You sigh heavily at the existentialism of it all. Then you return to your investigation. Pleased by your success at finding his dagger of Amon-Ra and his murderer, Dr. Pippin Carter now rests in peace. Pippin Carter's body was transported to Egypt by his cousin and now occupies a place of archaeological honor in the Temple of Amon-Ra in the Valley of the Kings. A fine example of room lighting. By the look of the paint scratches where the light screws into the ceiling, Heimlich has probably pulled it down for use in interrogating prisoners. This is the sort of thing that annoys Ernie, since he's the one who has to put it back up on the ceiling.
Tell me, have you noticed anything unusual at the museum lately?
The whole museum is unusual, my dear. We are surrounded by dead things. Just walk around for a while and breathe in its wonderful atmosphere. Why, the whole place smells of death.
I just may do that. Have you ever noticed any dead things that, well, don't belong?
My dear, every dead thing belongs. Dead things are our friends.
You mean the newspaper? Not me, sister. I prefer my news straight from the horse's patootie, if you catch my drift.
Hi, I'm Laura Bow.
Being snobbish high society types, these partygoers just ignore you entirely. You're simply not a part of their social circle. The semi-happy partygoers just ignore you entirely, considering themselves high above your social standing. Since you're not a recognized member of the in crowd, you might as well be a ghost as far as they're concerned. You'd be too embarrassed to use the toilet while someone is watching you. Hold it until the end of the game. The word wildebeest is stenciled on the crate's label. You're not quite curious enough to open up the crate and see what a wildebeest looks like. The crate is stenciled wild dingoes. You hate to think of how many wild dingoes are stacked up in that crate. Cy Pembert, a formerly successful flax farmer from Nebraska, apparently strayed from a museum tour many years ago. His remains were later found in a rarely used storage closet. Since he left no known survivors, the museum president decided to keep him on as a permanent staff member. This office is now his permanent home. Looking at a small portion of the big head really doesn't do justice to the immense size of the statue, but you can see that the bust was sculpted with extreme care, almost as if the sculptor's life depended on it, which it did. You think about eating the sandwich, then suddenly change your mind when you remember that you're a vegetarian.
Tell me about Wolf Heimlich. What's so funny?
Nothing. Wolfie funny. Funny man. Take himself very seriously. Stand up straight. Act like soldier.
What else can you tell me about him?
Occasional bloodstain. Never sweat. Very tidy. Only see him once in a while.
It's the dead body of Archibald Carrington III. From the position of the corpse, you suspect foul play. The banner of the Earl of Roslin, who placed the following Latin motto over his family crest, Illeso lumine solem, which means, view with sight unhurt the meridian sun. After he wrote the motto for his banner, the Earl of Roslin went blind from staring at the sun too much.
I do not know him, but if I did, I would practice my Heimlich death maneuver on him. Criminals should not be allowed to live. They could all be art thieves. I'm a big patron of the arts. That's the kind of high-class guy I am.
You don't even know what the word patron means.
I does too.
Okay, what does patron mean?
Hey, ain't that the countess I see over there? I needs to talk to her.
The stone lion doesn't respond. Perhaps it's because he's stone deaf. Grrr!
No, I'm afraid I don't know Detective John Bow. He is your father? That's nice. I admire the police. They get to spend so much time with the sick and the dead. And in New Orleans, yet with those beautiful cemeteries.
It says nothing. Either it's long dead, or it simply doesn't want to get involved.
We use cheese in our mousetraps around the museum. How I love to hear that snap, that squeak. Then I shoot them just to make sure they are kaput.
Has 1926 been a good year for you, Mr. Hamlick?
Why do you want to know, Fräulein Bull?
Well, I'm just curious, I guess.
You know what they say. Curiosity disembowels the cat.
I don't think that's exactly what they say, Mr. Hamlick.
Taking notes is a typically American thing to do. In Egypt, we remember everything we need to know because our mental capacities are greater. I forget nothing.
Ziggy is feeling a bit under the weather right now, perhaps because he's lost his voice and the rest of his body. In any case, he has nothing to say. Having died from a snake bite, the Countess Lavinia Waldorf Carlton did not live long enough to inherit any money from her last husband, Sterling. A close look reveals brightly painted scenes of the deceased playing a board game with Amon-Ra, water skiing with the goddess Sekhmet, and drinking at a tavern with Thoth, the god of wisdom. In essence, these painted scenes served the purpose of candid family photos, even though they never actually happened. Armed with these snapshots, the deceased could try and con his way safely through the underworld to meet the gods themselves. Usually the gods had good memories and would never remember meeting the deceased, whose soul would then die of embarrassment.
Ah, he's the odd little fellow who lost his head, yes? He must have been very unlucky to have been walking under that pterodactyl at the moment it broke loose from its mounting on the ceiling. Imagine being the only human ever to die from a pterodactyl bite.
Curator humor. The word hippo has been stenciled on this crate's label, but somehow you find it difficult to believe that there's a whole hippo in this box.
The Lion Decker is my home now. I never want to leave it. Its musty hallways and creeping shadows are in my very blood. Can you imagine spending an entire lifetime drifting through the land of the dead? That opportunity is mine, and I treasure it.
A sign on this dinosaur bone display says, "Please touch." Either these bones feel lonely, or the museum wants you to learn more about the bones by coming into close personal contact with them. Two interesting skull specimens from early humans who don't need them anymore.
Since you're new here, what do you think of New York? Isn't it exciting?
It reminds me of Cairo, except that it's colder here and the people are obnoxious.
A close look makes it clear that this artist was fond of chocolate. There are chocolate chips embedded in the paint.
Hey now, keep your hands off of those notices!
Don't touch the nudes.
You seen it? I saw you in there before. It is what it is. Hey, I'm a philosopher.
It feels like garbage. Now it'll be hard to get the smell off your hands. A close inspection reveals that this is a healthy tree despite the fact that small boys have bitten off some of the bark on the lower part of the trunk. Boys will be boys. In any case, the tree's bark is worse than its bite.
I do not indulge in nasty French pastries, Miss Bull. They are bad for my figure. A military man must maintain his stamina through proper exercise and diet.
So, how's your year going?
Good year. Chinese New Year about to start. Very exciting. St. Louis going to take pennant, no doubt about that. That very unpopular opinion around here, though.
A small sign identifies this dinosaur as an iguanodon, which means iguana tooth. However, from the Tyrannosaurus rex's point of view, this dinosaur could be identified as dinner. A painting of The Black Prince as a Fierce Baby by Ed Botticelli circa 1560 The cheap wood frame is by the Leyendecker Museum circa 1925.
I don't know if I trust that one. She screamed when she saw my beautiful dried rat exhibit and cried out like a baby when my ferret Daisy bit her ankle. Foolish woman.
What do you know about the Leyendecker Museum?
A very fun establishment. Worthwhile seeing, even if you're only in town for a short while. Very educational.
Have you actually been there?
Well, but I live in the city, and I'm not having to see all the landmarks.
What's your name, little boy?
None of your beeswax.
You're quite the impertinent little boy, aren't you?
Yeah, well, my folks told me not to talk to strangers.
His name's Paul Untermeyer.
Yeah, but we call him Stinky because his initials are P.U.
Crodfallers? No, thank you. I try to restrict my intake of sugar. It has a bad effect on me.
Vat 14. There's a vaguely humanoid shape floating in the murky liquid. After staring through the glass for a while, you see what appears to be white hair, or perhaps it's a large jellyfish.
That looks like the kind of wire we use to hang up our heavier suspended exhibits, Miss Bo. I hope none of them have fallen on anyone.
A rare skeletal specimen of the saber-toothed jackalope discovered high on the frozen slopes of Mount Everest. Extinct for over 20,000 years, scientists speculate that this jackalope was in the process of climbing the highest peak in the Himalayas when it died suddenly of arthritis.
There are many hairy creatures in this museum, Miss Bo, and I would suggest that you not pull out their hair. I would throw you out now if I could, you nosy American female.
Well, 1926 is sure turning out to be an exciting year, isn't it?
Sure is. My next-door neighbor's ugly dog got run over by a car. Splat! And then he was only like this thick. My dad lost his job and had to start driving a cab, and he already had one accident. Crash! Then I ditched school only about 50 times to see the Dodgers. Wham! So yeah, so far it's been a pretty good year.
It's neither valuable enough, useful enough, nor artistic enough for you to bother taking it with you. How ironic. After untold millions of years, this pterodactyl has claimed a new victim, a male specimen of Homo sapiens, which has been pinned to the floor by the pterodactyl's monstrous beak.
That trollop sleeps with everything that moves, and some things that don't. It's only by sheer strength of will that I've resisted her advances so far.
The fountain is too busy being a fountain to talk to you. Inspecting the painting carefully, you note the bloody quality of the red pigment, and recall that Bosch was known for the use of human blood in his paintings.
Ah, a delightful girl. I keep asking her if she'd like to be my second wife. She is so very feminine and seductive and charming and attractive and...
Okay, I get the idea.
You should try to be more like Yvette. Men would like you more that way.
Men like me just fine the way I am.
That's what you think. I find you quite annoying.
How was your year, Mr. Ziggy?
Superb! Simply superb! First I mix a sawbuck on the Tunny Dempsey match. Now here I am rubbing elbow grease with a hoity-toity. Thanks for asking.
The swirling brushstrokes are characteristic of the Morgan school of painting. The cracking of the paint is characteristic of age.
Crodfaller? Isn't it one of those fancy French pastries?
A rare 17th century English tapestry which tells the story of Teutonic warrior cockroaches that crossed into England from Germany and besieged the castle of Rochford-on-Essex. Although the cockroaches managed to storm the castle walls after a 90-day siege, The knights of the castle managed to squash the invaders when they reached the castle's inner keep. Since that great battle, the castle of Rochford-on-Essex has been free of cockroaches. Unfortunately, it has also been free of humans. 1 year after the great battle, everyone in the castle died of the plague. Shortly afterward, the castle fell into disrepair and sank into the swamp.
You wouldn't happen to know anything about the break-in at the Lion-Decker Museum, would you?
I have an alibi, so you'll never get me, copper.
You've got quite an imagination.
It's true. I swear on a hunk of Bibles I didn't do it.
I do not know Ziggy very well, but he makes me uneasy. His eyes remind me of a jackal's. I met him briefly at the party, then avoided him the rest of the time.
What happened to his body after you examined it?
The coroner was at the party. Maybe you met him. When he left, he took Dr. Carter's body with him, ego and all.
The food and champagne look good, but you're trying to stay on a diet, so you make the wise decision to leave them alone.
Ah, the young stevedore, Steve Dorian? He is a charming young fellow. I imagine he has some wonderful scars from working on the docks. Dr. Carrington is a quiet one. I don't see him very often. I'm certain, however, that he must have a poetic soul.
What makes you say that, Dr. Miklos?
I have seen him walking amongst the dead in the Egyptian exhibit late at night. I cannot blame him. It's better than moonlight on headstones.
You won't find Ziggy in here, dollface. This lounge is just for women, if you know what I mean.
The dragon isn't talking. On the top of the pedestal you see 2 imprints. One imprint is in the shape of the dagger of Amon-Ra, while the other imprint is where the edge of the glass case used to rest before you broke it. Although the crate listens politely to your words, it does not respond.
How do you like New York?
New York too big, too dirty for me. Good business, nice place to visit, but wouldn't want to live here. Unfortunately, I do.
Low-Fat's mother, whose ashes are contained in the vase, was always a lady of few words. Now that she's dead, she has even less to say. It's too far away for you.
What can you tell me about Yvette Delacroix?
Now you keep away from Yvette. I haven't seen the girl in ages, and I don't plan to see her again, so you just let sleeping dogs lie.
The humanoid sculpture is not accurate to the tiniest of details. In fact, you aren't even sure what the details are. Alberto Ravioli was still new at sculpting when he created this particular figure.
He wanted the dagger all along. He probably stole it. I should kill him right now, but I have no evidence.
And my beloved wife Isis is soon to deliver our 3rd child. I suppose I am as happy as a man should be.
Congratulations on the upcoming blessed event, Mr. Najia. What are your other children's names?
Well, there's Horus and Amon, and the new baby shall be named Anubis, after the wise and just Lord of the Dead.
Oh, how lovely. But what if the child is a girl?
The name shall be Anubis either way. It is a wonderful name for either a boy or a girl.
Tut Smith? That's gotta be an alias. Sounds like a pharaoh on a lamb.
If you look closely at my neck, you will see the scars from the night my pet Wolverine tried to kill me. How I miss little Fluffy.
So do you suppose you're gonna find lots of important clues with your little magnifying glass, Missy? Let me know if you find anything important.
Not wanting to remove evidence from the crime scene, particularly when you must have broken some sort of law by opening the president's personal wall safe, you decide not to remove the diary. A handwritten card attached to the plant pot reads, "To Yvette from Olympia. Thanks for the wild night with the mummies."
I do not like you wandering around and writing things. You are perhaps taking notes on what you would most like to steal? Is that it?
How interesting. A police file. Has the perpetrator ever murdered anyone? Oh, he has. How simply delightful. Do you know the fellow personally?
No, I'm trying to find out who he is.
What a pity.
I must admit that I'm impressed by your methods, Miss Bow. Not only have you identified the murderers of those unfortunate individuals, but you have also uncovered the skullduggery involving the dagger of Amon-Ra. Our case is very strong now and prosecution can begin. The New York Police Department owes you a debt of gratitude for your assistance in apprehending these malefactors. I'm sure that a commendation of valor from the police department is in order. Thank you for your help.
It's all that lousy reporter's fault. Damned interfering Laura Bow. Thinks she can get away with squealing on me, does she? Well, she's got another thing coming. Do you hear me, Laura Bow? You'll pay for this. If it's the last thing I ever do!
Thank you for waiting, Laura.
I didn't mind, Steve.
Laura,
Yes?
would you mind... do you suppose... Laura, could you close your eyes? I have something for you.
Oh, I suppose so. Oh, Steve!
Do you like it?
Steve, how could you? How could you have stolen the dagger?
I didn't steal the dagger, Laura. I bought this copy for you at the museum gift shop. I thought you might like a memento of your big night at the Leindecker Museum.
Oh, thank you, Steve. I'm so embarrassed.
You're beautiful when you blush. Laura,
Yes, Steve?
would you consider joining me for dinner this coming Saturday?
Well, I'm not sure if I don't know if I should really... Yes. Yes, I'd be delighted to join you for dinner.
Thank you, Laura. You've made me very happy.
Oh, Steve.
Oh, Laura.